This video is sponsored by Sakura and Tokyo Treat. When you say the word Sakura to a Naruto fan, it can elicit a myriad of different responses. People can call her the pink trash can, people can call her the summoner of Naruto, people can call her useless, or people can look into the depth of who she is as a character and understand that she's a lot more nuanced than any of those catch-all terms actually give her credit for. In fact, I would go so far as to say that Sakura most likely embodies the core belief of Naruto as a show better than Naruto, Sasuke, or any of the other main characters. In fact, I would go so far as to say, based off what Naruto was supposed to be about, Sakura was the main character. See, Naruto as a show is about being born into nothing and becoming something, a sentimentality that Naruto himself once embodied. However, we quickly as a fandom realized that that sentimentality just wasn't the case for Naruto. Well, it doesn't mean it wasn't the case for other people. Most notably today for our video, Sakura. Before I get to explaining about how Sakura is actually the real main character of Naruto, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And since you guys are already rage clicking away from this video, if you're gonna rage click away, go to one of my 3 other YouTube channels. First of which is the Weeb Commander, where instead of talking Naruto, I talk, well, anything but Naruto. Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, JJK, all of it. The second is NC Gamer 23, where instead of talking anime, I play video games, or The Hammer's Collection, where instead of talking anime in this chair, I talk while I build those big old statues behind me. But before we get into all that, guys, today we gotta talk about our favorite reoccurring sponsor to the page, Sakura and Tokyo Treat. Sakura and Tokyo Treat are monthly Japanese snack subscription boxes that give you 2 different experiences of snacking in Japan. But since these 2 boxes are different, I should probably tell you how they're different. Tokyo Treat allows you to tap into how the modern Japanese household might snack, with Japanese exclusive and limited edition snacks. And every month comes with a theme. This month's theme is spooktacular snacking. So this month's theme allows you to tap into how you might be snacking after Halloween in Japan. And I know what you're saying, Nick, I can't read Japanese. All I know about these Kit Kats is that it says Halloween break. So how do I know if I'm allergic to anything in here or what the flavor is? Well, fortunately for you, both Sakura and Tokyo Treat come with a 24-page pamphlet that tells you everything you need to know about these snacks. And from this pamphlet, we've learned that these Kit Kats are sweet potato flavored and lightly dusted with taro. But enough chatting about it, let's try it. Oh my. It's incredibly savory and sweet with a nice little fruity back end from the taro dusting. It's incredible. But if you're looking for something a bit more traditional, that's where Sakura comes in. You see, Sakura gives you a look into how a traditional Japanese household would snack. The whole box is stuffed with artisanal and traditional snacks and teas. And just like with Tokyo Treat, even though this snack may look intimidating, with our 24-page pamphlet, we'll know what it is. And just like with Tokyo Treat, every month is themed, and this month's theme is Ibaraki Harvest. Ibaraki being one of the major agricultural centers in Japan. And from the pamphlet, we've learned that these are Isa Suzami Manju, which is a donut-like dough filled with bean paste. Down the hatch. Oh my goodness. To say it's still moist and fresh is an understatement. This tastes like it was baked today. What's truly incredible at Sakura is they don't stop at snacks. With every box from Sakura, they also give you 1 piece of tableware. And this month's piece is a sauce dish that's beautifully ornamentally painted. So what are you guys waiting for? Use code NCHammer at checkout for $5 off your first order of Tokyo Treat or Sakura. But if that's not good enough for you guys, Tokyo Treat is also doing a giveaway for up to $1,000 in prizes for Halloween. You could even win yourself a free Tokyo Treat box. All you gotta do is check the link in my pinned comment in my description. And while you're in my pinned comment or my description, make sure you use my Tokyo Treat or my Sakura links to access their website, guys. Don't just go typing out Tokyo Treat or Sakura into your search bar. So what are you guys waiting for? Let's get to snacking. So Sakura, one of the most maligned characters in the entirety of anime, and here I am holding a shield for her. On this page, we've already done videos like rewriting Sakura, where I talk about the points in Sakura's story that I would change in order to make her the best version of her own character. However, by making that video, I wasn't implying that Sakura herself was a bad character, because if you've consumed the entirety of Naruto's content like I have, including the light novels, then you'll come to understand that Sakura is far from a bad character. In fact, she has more depth than probably either Naruto or Sasuke combined. But before I can dive into how Sakura is the main character, I have to flesh out the point at which I'm talking at. That point, of course, being what Naruto was supposed to be about. So let's start these videos off in the way that we tend to start these videos off. How? At the beginning, Naruto in part 1 showed us into the life of an orphan, left behind by his 2 parents who died in war, with a monster sealed inside of him that the entirety of his village hated. And this led to this orphan being ostracized by the only people that he would ever have the opportunity to consider his family, his neighbor. And on top of all of that, he had grand dreams to aspire to become the leader of all of these people, but didn't have the ability to get there. And thus part 1 of Naruto began to spin the tale and create the theme of becoming more than your birth. That the circumstances of your upbringing do not dictate where you can go in your life. And for part 1 of Naruto, this is hammered home. Naruto has battles against people like Neji, who were brought up as a genius and given everything, the Byakugan, Gentle Fist. And while obviously Neji was a member of the side family, he was considered a genius, and therefore that he would achieve more than somebody like Naruto ever would. Because Naruto wasn't born with a natural genius or the Byakugan or parents. And again, I guess that's kind of a moot point for Neji as well. And throughout the duration of Naruto and Neji's fight, Neji comes to realize that people can work hard for their place in the world. Neji comes to realize that not everything is dictated by the status of your birth, which is an important lesson for Neji because he was born into the side family. Even in Naruto and Gaara's fight, Naruto helps Gaara realize that he can become more than the substance of his own birth, because Gaara had a very similar backstory to Naruto, being born basically an orphan because Rasa didn't want to raise him, with a demon everybody was scared of inside of him. But Naruto made Gaara realize that he can bring love and acceptance into his heart to better his situation, and thus rise above the circumstance of his birth. And thus the theme of being more than the circumstance of your birth became undeniable in part 1 of Naruto. And here's the thing, obviously Naruto had the strongest tailed beast sealed inside of him, but Naruto overcame what a lot would consider as a curse in Kurama being binded into him and used that power for good. See, because I see a lot of people saying, well, oh, Naruto was never really that low because he had the strongest tailed beast. But the thing is, if we look at people like Blue Bee, the Jinchuriki of Gyuki prior to Killer Bee, or even a young Gaara, having a tailed beast sealed inside of you, regardless of the strength of the tailed beast, can be a curse, especially when you consider the fact that Naruto had the yang side of Kurama, the evil side of Kurama, and therefore his path to being able to use Kurama's power was much more arduous and long than it would have been for a lot of other Jinchuriki. And therefore, even though he had the possibility to be one of the strongest people on earth from his birth, it was still very much a curse. A curse he would have to forge and shape into something important, something that he could create and use for future good deeds. But here's the thing, that was part 1 of Naruto. Part 2 of Naruto, aka Shippuden, it's something entirely different. See, obviously in part 1 of Naruto, we played with the idea of the child of prophecy, a child prophesized by the great Toad Sage to Jiraiya, a child that would either lead the world into flames or lead it out of them. But here's the thing, Naruto could have just been the child of prophecy, a child that would have to work his abilities at a certain point in order to lead the world out of chaos. I would have been absolutely fine with that. But Naruto, according to Shippuden, was a lot more than just the child of prophecy. In Shippuden, we learned a lot of things about Naruto, most notably about who his parents were. In Shippuden, we learned the reason that nobody ever talked about Naruto's parents is because they were the Hokage and his wife. See, Naruto was not only the son of an Uzumaki, one of the strongest clans to ever exist, something we also learned in Shippuden, he was the son of the 4th Hokage, Minato. And upon finding this out, we basically realized Naruto is Konoha royalty. Not only is he a descendant of the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, the princess of the Uzumaki, who was sent to Konoha specifically to be a Jinchuriki, implying that Naruto's genes basically make him a perfect Jinchuriki. It means he gets the insane chakra reserves of the Uzumaki and the inherent ninjutsu genius of his father, Minato. And when you look at the lineage of the Hokage and realize that they've all either taught each other or are related to each other, Naruto's dream of becoming the Hokage being such a far-fetched concept begins to lose a little credibility. I mean, think about it. Hashirama and Tobirama are brothers. Tobirama taught Hiruzen, who taught Jiraiya, who taught Minato. Tsunade was taught by Hiruzen. Kakashi was taught by Minato. And Naruto was taught by Kakashi. They're all intertwined. So while it is sick that Naruto is the 4th Hokage's son, the fact that he comes from such a powerful bloodline, which absolutely means something in the Naruto universe, kind of takes the whole scruffy orphan making his way to the top thing a little bit away. But if we had just left it at Naruto's parents are Minato and Kushina, I would have been fine. That's not where it ended. See, because on top of the fact that Naruto had incredibly powerful parents that literally ran Konoha and saved it from Kurama, we also find out later down the line that Naruto is the reincarnation of a god. Kishimoto late into Shippuden decides to introduce the fact that both Naruto and Sasuke are reincarnations of Indra and Ashura, the progenitors of the Senju / Uzumaki and the Uchiha, the direct descendants of Hagoromo, and I'm putting quotations here, creators of the Susanoo and the Rasengan. I put quotation because Ashura creating the Rasengan is technically filler. So now not only is Naruto just a scrappy orphan, he's a scrappy orphan with the most powerful power-up in the entirety of his universe, incredibly powerful bloodline, and he's the reincarnation of a direct descendant of the man who quite literally gave chakra to the earth. And when you take all of that into consideration, Naruto's prior talks with people like Neji and Gaara make less sense. How are you telling people to rise above their station when you were born at the highest station? Obviously, yes, Naruto had to struggle and strive through a lot of things. When you take his entire character arc into perspective, he was always going to be strong. He was blessed with more things than your average person is. He was born at a higher station than Neji. In fact, the only person that was born at a comparable level of station was Sasuke. But within the confines of Naruto, there are people who embody the original theme. People who didn't find out they were reincarnations of gods, but got to fight side by side with Naruto and Sasuke without any of the power-ups. And I genuinely believe there's only about 3 people who fully embody the credo of part 1 of Naruto. And those 3 people are Might Guy, Rock Lee, and Sakura. Obviously, I'll do a different video on Might Guy and Rock Lee, but today we're gonna talk about Sakura, a person who was never handed a singular thing she ever gained, started from a no-name clan, and is now probably the strongest person in Konoha. But she gets written off because you didn't like her in part 1 of Naruto. So let's go ahead and talk about part 1 of Naruto's Sakura. Part 1 of Naruto's Sakura was a fair to middling Kunoichi, capable of using clone technique basically like everybody else in Naruto's class except for Naruto. Her parents aren't ninjas, we learned that in the filler episode. And yes, I'm taking that filler as canon because it gives us information that we didn't have otherwise. If filler answers a question you have and doesn't contradict any of the original source material, take it, who gives a shit? So Sakura didn't have anybody at home to train her or teach her ninjutsu, which is why when she came into the ninja academy, she was just like every other regular ninja. She had her kunai, she could use substitution technique, and she could run on water, and that was basically it. But in this ninja academy, Sakura really only had 2 things: love and rivalry. Sakura was obviously infatuated with Sasuke and had a rivalry with Ino over said love. A rivalry that would stick around for just as long as Naruto and Sasuke's. However, a rivalry that would grow into a friendship that actually makes sense. You see, Ino and Sakura started as 2 friends who bumped heads over a boy they both liked. However, they had been friends for a long time. And because they were both vying for the attention of a singular boy, they pushed each other to get stronger. And while that did not happen immediately, they both have moments. See, obviously people thrash Sakura for being useless in the tuning exams. But when you take into perspective the fact that her teammates were a demon fox and a kid who woke the Sharingan at 12, the fact that she was in some of those fights at all is kind of crazy. Especially when you consider the fact that both Naruto and Sasuke were targets for people like Gaara and Orochimaru. Because Gaara as a genin was easily Jonin level, and Orochimaru quite literally is one of the legendary Sannin. So obviously yes, Naruto and Sasuke, who are reincarnations of God and had all the hacks under the sun, were gonna be better suited for those fights than Sakura, who, mind you, even though she was getting tossed around by hidden sound shinobi, was trying her best to be in the fight, trying to protect the likes of Sasuke, who had passed out after using his curse mark. Sakura stepped up to the battle with no curse mark, no Sharingan, no tailed beast, basically just substitution jutsu, her long hair, and a kunai, fully embodying the concept of trying to overcome the circumstance of your birth. Sakura in that moment was not strong enough to be in those battles. However, she was trying. And well and truly, if Kishimoto believed in the thematic lines that he was actually trying to create in Naruto, she would have overcome those situations, like in her fight against Ino. And while her fight against Ino is god-awful, it actually is a relatively cool moment for Sakura. You see, we see Sakura get put under mind transfer jutsu and break herself out of it, leading towards the appliance of her chakra control and her genjutsu resistance down the line. But at the same time, we see Ino and Sakura punch each other with the little chakra and will they have left and knock each other out. And in that moment, we see Sakura putting her entire will into a fight and coming out with a draw against the technically stronger opponent, because after all, Ino is a Yamanaka, one of the legendary parts of Inoshikacho, and she was raised by shinobi. For all intents and purposes, Sakura actually probably should have lost that battle. And then Konoha Crush happens, where Sakura is one of the first people to break out of the genjutsu, once again implying that her genjutsu resistance is abnormally high. And she plays a critical role in breaking important people around her out of genjutsu. And while obviously for the rest of the Konoha Crush arc, she doesn't play a massively important role, the Konoha Crush arc makes Sakura realize that she needs to get as strong as Naruto and Sasuke. And thus, after the Tsunade retrieval arc and seeing what Tsunade could do for Rock Lee, Sakura decides to to become a medical koinaichi. Koinaichi is a very hard word to say when your nose is stuffed. Because here's the thing, Sakura understood her strengths and leaned into them. It became apparent to Sakura that her chakra control was the one thing that was special about her. And she idolized Tsunade's ability to bring people from the brink of death back to life. And thus she trained, and trained very hard. And people make jokes that, oh, Sakura healed a fish. But what people miss about Sakura healing a fish and her training arc with Tsunade is the chakra control and mastery that she gained during this time. See, while Naruto was out training with Jiraiya doing God knows what, and Sasuke was getting hickeys from Orochimaru, Sakura was training in her chakra control, which pushed her genjutsu resistance to an even higher level. So enter Shippuden, when Naruto was getting all the accolades of finding out that his father was the fourth Hokage and that he's the reincarnation of a god. Sakura has basically fully leaned into being a medical koinaichi, which means she's officially become the medical ninja of Team 7, a precedent that Tsunade actually set herself, which means that whenever Team 7 shipped out to find Sasuke, she was right there with them. And while obviously there's a moment on the bridge where Sakura has an opportunity to stab Sasuke and she doesn't take it, I think this is actually the best representation of human feelings towards somebody in all of Naruto. See, Sakura wants to kill Sasuke because she loves him, and she doesn't want to see somebody she loves continue to wreak havoc on the world that she also loves. But when she gets the opportunity to attack him, she doesn't take it, because love is a tricky thing. I think those feelings towards Sasuke are a much more accurate representation of like a human spectrum of emotions than Naruto's incessant will to bring somebody who he was a friend with for like a year back to the village for 10 straight years, or Kakashi's just straight up coldness towards Sasuke, because that's another thing that gets slowly unraveled by Naruto Shippuden. As we peer more into the backstories of Naruto and Shikamaru and Choji, we see that Naruto was friends with other people before he was even a friend with Sasuke. Today we're not even necessarily talking about Sakura's love interests. We're talking about the fact that Sakura was always running after Naruto and Sasuke, seeing two literal god reincarnations always become stronger, and because that, she drove herself to be the strongest version of herself, doing things like gaining a contract with Lady Katsuyo, the most powerful of the legendary Sannin summons, learning the strength of 100 seal, a jutsu so difficult only 3 people, and that's if you include Mita Uzumaki, who we straight up don't know whether or not she actually had it, have ever learned, mastering her chakra enhanced strength because she wasn't naturally talented in ninjutsu and therefore used chakra to increase her own physical strength, and then learning mitotic regeneration from Tsunade that she could use in conjunction with her strength of 100 seal to guarantee she could die 100 times. And with those 3 things, Sakura was able to consider herself equals with Naruto and Sasuke in the beginning of the war. And for all intents and purposes, she was close. But if you sit back and look at it, what Sakura achieved is so much more impressive than either Naruto or Sasuke. See, Naruto was given the Nine Tails, and while obviously he had to master it and that was an uphill battle, he was still given it. And when he was about to lose control of the Nine Tails, Minato and Kushina left a little bit of their chakra inside of Naruto to make sure that wouldn't happen, essentially giving him a second chance at mastering Kurama. Sasuke was given EMS by Itachi. He was given the curse mark by Orochimaru. Hell, he was given the Sharingan by his Uchiha bloodline. For that matter, Naruto was given his chakra, but Sakura had to work for her strength, her chakra control, her Lady Katsuyo seal, her strength of 100, her mitotic regeneration. And then when things got ugly in the war arc, Hagoromo, Sasuke, and Naruto's technical Sky Daddy came from a different dimension to give Naruto and Sasuke additional power-ups for nothing. And you know who was still fighting Kaguya in a separate dimension that she warped all of Team 7 to? Sakura, who, mind you, Kakashi only had a chance in that fight because Obito somehow force ghosted his Sharingan into Kakashi's face. So Kakashi's given dual MS, Sasuke now has a 6-Tomei Rinnegan, and Naruto has the chakra of a god. And you know who's still there fighting and landing the blow that allows Naruto and Sasuke to seal Kaguya? Sakura, a woman who in the light novels is quite literally able to apply chakra so minutely to her hand that she can catch a fireball jutsu and throw it back at her enemy. A woman who in the light novels took on a former Anbu captain who had a 9-tailed Jinchuriki cloak, blew off one of her arms and regrew it back like she was Namekian. A woman who in Sasuke Guide in the light novel that's getting a manga adaptation here pretty soon was able to run her chakra through an entire prison system and map out the entire prison, where the guards were, where the traps were, where certain people's chakra signatures were, in her mind, like she had a high-level Byakugan. A woman who is the reason Naruto and Sasuke are still breathing, mind you, because without Sakura, Naruto's heart wouldn't have pumped itself in the war arc when Kurama got pulled out of him, and Sakura's pulled more black rods out of Sasuke than Riley Reid. Sakura was born with nothing and then got put on a team with 3 of the strongest people in Konoha's history. And instead of relying on the superpowered fox inside of her or the Sharingan that both Kakashi and Sasuke had, She just worked hard. She identified her strengths, looked up to Tsunade, buckled her bootstraps, and got to it. And because she worked hard, she's now most likely the strongest person in Konoha, with strength feats comparable to 8 Gate's Guy and speed comparable to at least 6th Gate, with regeneration comparable to Hashirama, chakra reserves comparable to Naruto, genjutsu resistance comparable to literal Otsutsuki's, and medical ninjutsu comparable to Tsunade. She is without a doubt one of the most important people in Konoha right now. And if Naruto were to die tomorrow in the manga, she would get my vote as next Hokage. So before you look at Sakura and you say, oh, this character is useless, take a second to realize what she had to go through and what she had to grow up around. And once you're done considering those points, realize that Sakura, much more than Naruto, embodies the original theme of Naruto, working hard to change your station in life. And if you've made it this far into the video without rage clicking away, congratulations, you're a well-adjusted adult. And since you're so well-adjusted, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Listen, you can believe Sakura is useful or useless, but without her, Hinata's dead. And if Hinata's your waifu, well, that would be a problem now, wouldn't it?